There we go.
There we go. And we are live.
And we are live. Well,
Interesting.
Sister Ari, last time I was at your channel, now you're at mine, so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. This is really exciting. I'm glad to be back with you.
Absolutely. The last time was very fun. Obviously, it was nice meeting. Was the start of a great friendship, if you ask me. Um,
Yes.
um, I wanted to mention beforehand that well over 2 weeks ago, my grandmother passed away. Who has been like watering my faith as typical grandmothers do. So I want to have this particular stream be in respect to her, um, and each and everyone who has lost a loved one recently. Um, it's a beautiful, beautiful doctrine. It's beautiful teaching. So obviously, the intention is uh, to elaborate it in as an introduction for people who don't know it in general. We're just going to make some baby steps towards what exactly is the communion of saints. So, what are your thoughts so far?
Yeah. I mean, I think we could definitely do that. I also did lose somebody as well. I lost one of my really close friends recently in a motorcycle crash. So, it's not easy losing somebody that you obviously, but I thank God that I thank God that I'm alive, and I think to pray for them while I'm still here. You know,
Yeah.
she was somebody that was just starting to get on the right path. If you know
Okay.
what I like, she was starting to walk with the Lord because of her kids. She was starting to walk with the Lord, and then this kind of happens. So it's kind of like a
Yeah.
yeah. It's not
How
easy.
young? How young was she?
She's a mom. She was
Hmm.
probably I want to say 30s, 40s, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah. So
Wow.
it yeah. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean we can't control when people. Only the Lord knows why. But
Hmm.
I think that if anything, I think honest. I don't know what it is about grief specifically, but I feel like it really does bring you so much closer to God. Especially like when you think you're kind of walking on the right path with God, and then something like this happens. Not only does this help your faith grow, but it also strengthens it in a while, and you start to recognize that the Lord has given you a crazy amount of strength that you didn't even realize that you had, and it's all thanks to Him. And so I feel like that's something that I have taken away so far. I don't know.
Man, Gord. No, beautiful. You put it
I think
perfect.
I'm.
Like, go ahead, sister.
No, I wasn't saying anything. Go ahead.
There's a small latency in the connection, but still, usually when we speak about faith, it's a lot of dry information, facts this, facts that. But this particular subject is actually very deep and also cuts to the depths of our hearts. Like, it's very emotional for us, the communion of saints. So what we're trying to touch upon. Really has to do with obviously where we are going to go, how it will be with us, but also our loved ones and how their situation is, but also our connection with each other. That's also a very important matter on this stuff. So, atheists in and of themselves think that when someone passes away, it's just utter blackness, right? So it just stops and that's it. Obviously, the communion of saints is the exact opposite of that. So, without revelation, without scriptures, without God telling us how it actually is, a natural person who just looks at creation thinks like, oh, death is part of life. Death is part of creation. Revelation tells us no, that's not the case. What are you talking about? Death was never the goal of life at all. So death in the Christian faith is the enemy. Um, so there are a couple of points I want to touch upon. obviously the scriptural exegesis, but also near-death experiences, bereavement visions. So I have here a bunch of books right here. So I'm gonna show you guys a couple ones. I'm gonna change my
Such a nerd.
right here. We have.
Martin is the biggest nerd, y'all, by the way. If
I
you
know.
guys don't know, he's the biggest nerd when it comes to books.
I'll take that as a compliment. I'm a bigger nerd. I don't think I'm a bigger nerd than William, though. William is the biggest nerd of all. Anyway, I have here a book of The Case for Miracles by Lee Strobel. I have here a book of Beyond Death from Gary Habermas and J.P. Moreland. I have here a book of This Self Does Not Die from Titus Rivas and Annie Dervin and Rudolf Smith. And I have here a book of a person who I interviewed a couple years ago, John Burke, with Imagine Heaven. Like 2 years ago, I interviewed John Burke. And also back there, I don't know if you guys can see it. There we have Miracles of Craig Keener, which is also in the same category, but I don't want to grab those books because then all my icons of Christ will fall down. So I'm just going to leave that one there. And, by the way, Roman Catholics are going to be very happy. I got this one, by the way. Came in
yes.
today.
Yes. That is possibly the best Catholic Bible you ever could have gotten.
Yeah. I mean, this is a doozy. Look how thick this one is.
It's yeah. By the way, William had just interviewed not too long ago one of the people who actually worked on that Bible, Dr. Scott Hahn. He's really well known in the Catholic faith, and he's just it was incredible. And I love Scott Hahn. Anybody that knows me knows I love Scott Hahn.
Yeah,
so
he is. Scott Hahn is one of the best of the Roman Catholic Church for sure. Yeah.
100%.
But what was the whole point of all these books? There are historic attestations. There are medical proofs of people who have passed away and have come back to life again. People who have been resuscitated. For instance, Gary Habermas gave an example of someone who was in a hospital bed and was passed away, but the person had ADHD or has OCD, to be correct. So he said that he was out of his body when he passed away, and there's this device where there was a particular code on that, particular numbers. A regular person who stands on the floor can't see what is over there on the other side of the equipment, right? But when he came back into his body, he knew out of memory what the numbers were on the machine. That was an actual. Can you show the proof? There's an interview of Gary Habermas where he tells these things. There's also the story of John Burke, who interviewed Heidi Barr, a 16-year-old Jewish girl who was riding her horse, and her horse fell on her, and she was literally in the presence of Christ. And then she came back. So all these testimonies, these are not people who were drug addicted. These are not people who were hallucinating. These were even atheists. These were engineers. They had no dog in the fight if it came to the Christian faith, right? But thousands and thousands and thousands more of these particular testimonies and examples and even proofs that there are particular patterns, which all of them agree concerning what happens at death and what happens when they come back. And this is what we're trying to speak about. So we do believe, as St. Paul says, to be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? So we as humans, when we pass away, our soul separates from our body. Our body goes towards the floor and our spirit goes towards the Lord. What happens is when people pass away, people say that there's a welcoming committee. Like people are like welcoming them, like, hey, welcome here, come here. And when we think when somebody passed away, we are mourning for them. No, we're not mourning for them. We are mourning for those who have remained here on earth. When somebody passes away, their situation becomes better, not worse, first and foremost. So when we are at the coast, for instance, at the East Coast or West Coast, whatever, and we see a boat is going towards the horizon, we are panicking like, oh my god, the boat is going to disappear. Where's the boat going to go? We're panicking, right? But on the other side of the horizon, they're welcoming the boat. Right? So there's an interval. Saint Peter also says that he is ready for his departure. So we do believe that the death is an exodus. It is an interval. If there's a river which has a particular stream, there's then a waterfall which is death, and then it continues again. Right? I know. We are not the Strigata. What we're trying to claim with this particular thing, it is a cumulative case. It is a cumulative case. We are not basing all our evidences on subjective experiences. I know that. I know that. That's not what we're trying to go after. When we mean a cumulative case, that there are multiple points of evidences which we can utilize for our particular argumentation. And some of these particular testimonies are documented by by medical people who have no dog in the fight for Christianity or against Christianity. They're just reporting what happened, and which also very significant for us because we do believe in the resurrection. We do believe that after death, it is not the end for us. But then in Revelation, what happened in the period of the Bible, then we will know how God tells us what was going to happen with us. So first and foremost, a great point. Nonetheless, it is what it is. No problem. Thank you, Elijah Catholic. You know
everybody
what?
needs everybody needs to chill. We only got like 10 minutes in, yo. Stop trying to
It
cut
is
out
what
the
it is. No
brother.
problem.
um, but yeah. So I don't know too much
It
about
is.
that specifically, but
Hmm.
I could tell you that there have been people, me specifically, because of the intercession of the saints, my relationship with God has genuinely improved, especially during a time of grief. And I feel like as Christians, we tend to look at grief as like a very sad thing. We tend to think of loss as like a really sad thing. When people pass away, they're like, oh, poor them, and it's like you pointed out, they passed away. Shouldn't we be celebrating
Hmm.
instead of mourning over death? Shouldn't we be celebrating the life that they lived here on Earth, but also knowing the fact that hey, they could possibly be up there with the Lord. Like hello, like that'd be so cool if that'd be so cool if somebody if we ask for their intercession, then they're I don't know.
Exactly. Yeah. I'm gonna wait until the connection gets a bit better. Oh gosh. Ari, our sister. I hope Ari, if you can hear me, if you could leave the studio and come back. I think it should work again. I think. Okay, there we go. Hmm. There we go.
Yeah, I'm telling you, it's my internet. Um,
But still, a very beautiful point from you, that grief actually made your connection with God even better. Not a lot of people can say that actually. Usually it's actually the reverse. If something bad happens, quote unquote, they're like getting mad at God, like, yeah, God, like, why didn't you give me something better in this life? I'm like, that's not how things work, dude. Like, but
yeah.
that's a sign of strength for sure.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
and you know what, and it takes, and it's funny because like even when I talk to people about that, like people who are going to, people who went through grief, they're like, oh no, yeah, like I don't believe in God because stuff, and I was like, actually, let me change your perspective on that. I'm like, are you willing to hear me out? And then even though I'm not like super knowledgeable in the Bible, at least getting to share my experiences on how certain losses have genuinely helped me grow in my relationship with God has gotten me much closer, not even to God, but even to his saints as well.
Mm.
I think is really beautiful, honestly. And it
Gorgeous.
always blows people away because they're like, how are you like you're 20. I'm 24 now, but like when I was younger, like I kind of had that perspective too. But it's like it took me a while for me to get to that point though. That's the
Yeah.
thing. That's what people need to realize. I think it's a process. It's like it's okay to feel angry. It's okay to feel mad or sad, or whatever. But it's like the important thing is not staying in that state. Don't stay in that state and those stages of grief. Don't stay in it. You can okay. If you want to cry about it for like a day or two or three, whatever, and then boom, move on. We got to keep moving. We can't keep warning into, oh, what could have happened, what I could have done, what I could have said to this person.
Mhm.
We live too much with regrets where it's like, why are we moving backwards instead of moving forward? I'm like, is that what
Right.
Christ sent us out to do?
No.
So,
But I'm very proud of you. But just as mentioned before, when something happens to a person, this is not the usual reaction when people have. Usually, it's like a infant, right? So if it doesn't get what he or she wants, he gets mad at the parent. But now it's actually the worst because grief and the not so positive aspects of life makes you short God all the more, and also His saints. So but the whole thing of life in and of itself is that our need for God gets more and more clear over time, right? So something also very important, whatever happens in this life has nothing to do concerning our standing with God. You could be rich as hell, you could be, I don't know, if it comes to hedonism, you could do everything you want, but you would still would be an enemy of the Lord. Luke 16, right? Lazarus and the rich man. So don't think of yourself when you have not on paper, quote unquote, the best life, that then therefore your relation with the Lord is not good. That's absolutely not the case, first and foremost. So I'm proud of you, by the way. I wish a lot more people would look at it in that way. Gorgeous.
I think, and and I feel like what also helped me, not just because a lot of people don't know this, but like for me personally, like I've experienced grief so much in my entire life. Like my entire life, I've watched people die in front of me, and
Mhm.
that's the way that I grew up. And so there comes at one point where it's just like I went through every single stage that anybody could possibly think of: the angry stage, the hatred stage, the yelling at God. There are times where I would punch things because of how angry I was at him, and I would scream at him, and I would say like, "Why would you do this to me?" Keep in mind, I was very young,
Mhm.
and I basically grew up angry, but it wasn't until and it sounds really cheesy, but it's like when you actually give your heart to God and when you're actually honest with him about how you're feeling and the emotions that you're feeling, there comes a point where he's going to be like, okay. And then all of a sudden just this overwhelming peace will just like, and that's what happened to me. It took me years for me to get to that point where I felt that peace. Okay, let it out. You can be mad at me, like let it out. He gave me those years to let it out. And then once I actually cooled down, I was like, oh, I didn't realize that I was missing out on so much.
Okay. Strigata, I think I'm going to block you. So there you go. I think I blocked him. Bye bye. Okay. I know you don't need, we don't, he's a nuisance. Sorry. Anyway, um, can you hear me by the way? Oh,
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear
okay.
me?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Okay, awesome.
Um, be- amazing. I'm very proud. I don't, obviously I know you, uh, not
Long.
that long, but I would say that the amount of progress that you're making for by your 24, 20, you're already 24 years old, right?
Yeah, I'm 24.
But you're speaking as if you're 200. Like you've been through some stuff, man.
I have, and unfortunately, and like people are like, oh, like wow, like you're so smart. And I'm like, watch what I've been through. Then
Yeah,
you're gonna think like, oh, they're gonna think like, wow, like how are you still alive?
yeah. Like life has matured you.
Because it keep
Yeah.
so many experiences. I went through it all. Anything that's a near case occasion of death, like I've been through it all. Not only did I experience grief, and also I don't think I've ever shared this actually, but I was in and out of hospitals. There was near death occasions when I was younger. I was in it.
Mm,
I imagine I grew up losing a lot of people around me, seeing people die around me almost every day. I was in and out of hospitals, in and every day, surgeries, like surgeries in and out, dangerous surgeries. By the way, I shouldn't even be
mm.
alive right now.
Wow.
I had my mental health. I have struggled a lot with my mental health. I've people know this already. Like I've had multiple attempts before. It's not easy because everything that you go through, like it will affect you mentally. And if you never grew up in a household where maybe the love of Christ or what a relationship
Mm,
seek love and other things, and then when those things or people fail, your mental health and your self-worth just starts declining completely. So
wow.
I've been through all those different things. And so for me to have the perspective that I have now, it's literally taken me 24 years to get to that point. Literally
Mm,
24 years. And I'm not gonna say here and be like I'm fully healed from everything because I'm not. I'm still working through it on a daily basis. But now I'm able to walk and able to work through those things because I know who I have. I know who's beside me. I know that Jesus is with me.
right.
I know that the angels, archangels, I know that the saints are all watching over me. And I know that they're helping me, each
Yeah.
and every day.
Yeah.
So
For thus far, how I know you, it's like you're indefatigable. Like I can people cannot make you tired. Like you give so much love all the time. It's like there's like a bank, an infinite bank of love for everybody, right? Everybody. So
yeah, I mean
amazing. Yeah.
yeah, I think it's crazy. I came from it's more and now I feel like I'm to a point where it's like I have so much love to give that it's like I'm willing to give it to the anybody who comes near me. Bet and I always
But
kind of and I realize I kind of always been that kind of person where it's like I don't know what it is, but I tend to have people come to me, people who struggle with love specifically in their lives, who don't have that love in their life. When I
mm,
talk to them and I talk to them about Jesus and what he's done for me, then they're like, there's something else. It's like a whole new world for them when I tell them about him. And I'm like, yeah, there is. I'm like, if you want to
yeah,
be,
but Ari,
oh,
if I may ask you, would you think that Hebrews 12 verse 6 says that God loves whom he disciplines? Would you think
yes,
that you underwent such a particular period where a little bit of pressure was put upon you, but at the end of that road, you are now who you are? By the way, would you think that was the case in your situation?
absolutely. I think that
Mm,
when I went through certain mental health crises, I think that's what has happened. I think in a way he kind of had to, because here's the thing. I feel like I grew up in a victim mentality,
mm,
and so I feel like the Lord has been really working through me, through people, by the way, that has been helping me to correct that behavior. Where it's like, actually, you're not actually a victim anymore.
right.
Like, why are you still living, or why are you still thinking that same way? So, and I feel like he has disciplined me through my process, and it's not easy. It's not easy when the Lord sits you down and it's like, actually, hey, it's not about you.
Yeah.
It's not about you. It's not what you want.
Right. But
I'm like,
but still, you already mentioned before that you already had your own near-death experiences, so you've come very close to, I don't know, like meet the Lord, if I can put it that bluntly.
yeah, I've had dreams and surgeries of where I've encountered the Lord,
Wow.
literally, and it's I know it's crazy. It's crazy, and I didn't even know who it was,
Mm,
but it's like it blows my mind. That's the thing. I want people to understand this. The Lord will literally meet you where you're at. And I know people hear that all the time, but it's true. Even if you don't know anything about him, but you're seeking for something, you're seeking for truth, he's gonna show up.
Yeah.
Like, there's no doubt about that. And I feel like I'm living proof of that.
Yeah. But to come back on the topic, like the fear of death for you is just not the case. Right? Like death,
Not anymore.
right? Yeah.
Yeah, I know. And people are like, you need to be careful. Like, what if you die? Or what's gonna happen if you die or do this or that? I was like, so?
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
But
I'm like, so what if
but
you
the thing right now is you now have this particular certainty, you have this particular love filled in your heart. Now you need to spread it to everybody else, because not a lot of people have that particular rest in them. Like this life is actually a struggle between me and how the Lord sees me. That's the whole. Forget about the devil. Forget about every other struggle. In this particular life, this temporary period where I'm in, is the Lord happy with me? That's the most important thing. When 2 weeks ago my grandmother passed away, I was at work and received a message from my mom. And my colleague was telling me like, "Yo, you can go get back and contact your family and try to message everybody." When I came back, my head was split in two, in a sense that I just could not continue with my day as if nothing happened. Right, and then when I came back home, I also became sick, so I had like a spiritual and physical reboot. Like I had to lay down in my bed, and my parents went to Armenia, and unfortunately I couldn't come to the funeral of my grandmother. But I'm like, hold on a second. We are going to work. We are being busy, quote unquote, with the important stuff, and this happens, and then becomes very clear what then the true priorities are. Right. So also for me, the last couple of weeks have been a moment of recalibration. Um, something what has happened in my family also a lot have been bereavement visions, which is also very common actually. The Lord in his love and mercy knows that those who remain here on earth, they are the ones who are mourning. Those who have departed towards him, they are in a much better situation. By the way, even particular testimonies of those who have passed away and have come back, they were telling us they wanted to remain there. Could you imagine? Could you imagine that you would die and actually wanted to remain dead? Right. Well, that's just for a
yeah.
lot of people that's just weird to understand. Like people think that this is it. If you're not alive, then this is not good. No, 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 dude. If you pass away, the feeling that you have, the things you perceive, the love that you feel is so much better than just leaving your family behind. Like, yeah, I will meet them later on. That's conceptually,
Yeah.
it's a lot. It's very difficult for people to put a grasp on it. But for instance, my mom, when in 2014 my grandfather passed away, like her father, a couple months later, she and my grandmother had bereavement visions of my grandfather. What is happening all the time and all over again? The Lord, in His mercy, knows that there is a hole in your heart when a loved one passes away, but He is letting you know it's okay with them. Trust me, it's okay with them. Right. So the Lord is not a sadistic person. The Lord is not someone who is punishing you out of spite or something. No, God forbid. Lord have mercy if that would be the case. No, of course not. So the death is an it's an illusion. The death is already defeated for us all. Right. So now concerning the saints, my question to you is, you already mentioned before that concerning grief, obviously assuming people passing away, loved ones passing away, how has your love for the saints and your prayer life gone upwards? How does that
How does that
get
grow?
yeah.
Yeah. So I think because I'll be honest, I didn't really grow up knowing the saints as much, but it actually wasn't until recently when I started to get close to our Blessed Mother, that's where I started to really look onto like the saints and stuff because everybody always made such a big deal about it, and I never really understood. I had to slowly. I have a patron saint. Saint Michael the Archangel is my patron saint, and I obsessed. Um, and Saint Joseph, and so those.
Oh, Ari, the connection fall out again. I think if you would leave the studio, come back again. Oh gosh.
Okay.
There we are.
Yeah, I think there you go. Sorry about
There we
that.
go. No problem.
I'm telling you, it's my Wi-Fi. It's but yeah, I was saying that I think they have helped me because when I started to get an understanding of who they were, and I started to understand like the stuff that they went through as well, and I realized how much I related to them. I was like, whoa. And then I found out what intercession actually meant. I think that's the most important thing. Is like when you find out who are the saints, you find out they were just ordinary people just like us, made mistakes just like us, if not even worse. I mean, St. Paul's a great example. You know, the man literally persecuted Christians, so it's like that's crazy for me. Um, and I think that when I started, okay, so what I did was I started to dig deep into it. I found out who they were. I found out what the word intercession meant. And then from there, I was like, all right, I'm going to try it out. I'm going to see what happens. It's kind of like it's really weird. I said this, I was like, all right. I was like, there's this one specific thing that I needed. This was a time where I didn't have a job. And I was like, this is one specific thing that I need. I'm going to ask for the intercession of St. Joseph.
Nice.
I was like, all right, St. Joseph, I'm giving you 30 days. All right, we'll see what happens from there. Tell me why not even a month later I ended up getting a job.
Glory to God.
And I prayed and I prayed it. I literally asked for his intercession every single day, and I made it consistent. I didn't, I asked for your intercession, and I asked that you help me find a job soon. Boom. It could be something. It could be something simple like that.
Yeah, but
Glory to God.
I think one of I think if there's anything that people take away from the stream, is it what you said concerning they're regular people just like you and me, with their own quirkiness, with their own mistakes, with their own characters, with their own types and whatever. Like for instance, when you read John or you read Paul or you read particular prophets or particular church fathers, like you sense their character in a particular way, right? So when I'm interacting with regular people, like, oh, that guy has a great sense of humor, oh, that person is really hot-headed, right? So but when you read the saints, they're just like you and me in a particular sense, right? They're used by the Lord in history for our salvation, which is like next level stuff, obviously, but still nonetheless there's this beautiful thing about the communion of saints, that you can choose your own saints, not in every situation, because in certain church traditions, there is in a particular family line, a particular church, you already have your own patron saints, for instance. Um,
I saw her comment. Thank you, Janice. Thank you.
yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
but thank you. But yeah, and I think that's what people need to remember is like you don't have like in order to become a saint, like think about it. Think about how messed up some of these saints were. Like let's just be honest. Some of them had some of the most messed up past. They have some of the most horrible stuff. And yet they're some of the most well acknowledged saints today.
Yeah.
So it's like what makes us think what can we possibly do that would stop us from becoming a saint? What makes us think God cannot make us into saints with the history and the path that we've done, the choices that we made? What
Yeah.
makes us think that we're any more than
Saint
them?
Paul, Saint Paul, for instance, great example, or Saint Moses, or
Saint
Mary of Egypt.
Augustine.
Saint
Saint
Augustine. He was,
Saint
yeah,
Jerome. I mean, it's there's so many.
yeah, absolutely. So I already mentioned before, critics of the communion of saints have mainly this atheistic way of thinking. The typical line is, "Yeah, but they're dead." Uh, Hello, Christianity, welcome.
Christ.
Right, so but still, like if you are an atheist and Christianity is new for you, I can understand that there's like this residual world for you in the back of your mind, like, oh, everybody who passed away is just dead. No, buddy, if you get more and more familiar with Christianity, death is not the end of us. So hello, newsflash. But then we have Protestants who also have hard time understanding what the Lord is actually saying, right? So um
Yeah,
anyway.
and I mean, and it's funny because even the ones who are so it cracks me up when you could tell they're hating just because of ignorance. Like you could tell they're hating just because they want to hate, and they just refuse
Yeah.
to be open to it.
Do you mean they in the sense of the atheist or Protestants?
Talking about Protestants
Right.
specifically.
I would actually say that the Protestant intention is to go back to what the apostles originally taught, right? That's the whole point. But what they were doing is they were throwing out the baby with the bathwater. So everything the Roman Catholic Church affirmed by definition, I negate that. No, that's not how the criteria how you should do that, buddy. That's not how stuff works. So they're, if anything, Rome affirms, we negate that. No, so their filtering system, whatever that may have been, is absolutely nonsense. So I obviously we speak of the fullness of the faith, which is in the apostolic churches, and the whole point is that the communion of saints has been accused of idolatry, it has been accused of necromancy, has been accused of any such a thing.
Yeah.
Nothing could be farther from the truth, because
Yep.
obviously the article that last time you mentioned,
The yeah,
I'm
I really liked it. It was yeah.
I'm gonna
not to
bring it up.
not to toot your own horn, but I think y'all. I think if you guys are watching, I think you guys should definitely check out his articles. He's really good. Um.
Yeah, one second.
So
I'm gonna share my screen. There we go. I think people can see it right. So this is the, oh gosh. So this is the article. Just to give a quick run back, we have here: never stop praying for one another. God is the God of the living, not the dead. We are one body. God does act and save through His church. God wants us to be holy and sanctified. God wants us always to love one another. Saints know what is happening on earth. Saints appear on earth to talk with men. Saints intercede for those on earth. Prayers of the saints are more powerful. God dislikes the prayers of the wicked. God has given us his guardian angels. Jesus acts due to the intercession of the others, and God acts due to the intercession of the saints. So, simply put, um, that is in a nutshell the communion of the saints. So scripturally, when Protestants, if you ask the Protestants, where does it say the word Trinity? Like, no, we look at the scripture holistically. We need to entire revelation, and we need to take everything into account and need to be exegetical. Fine, but then the reverse is not true. Where does it say pray to Mary? Like, dude, come on. So
yeah.
uh,
And they like they say like you shouldn't be talking dead. The dead can't hear you. This and that. I'm like, are you saying that those who passed away? Are you saying that they're not alive in Christ? You're literally contradicting what Scripture says. Um,
yeah,
and so it's just it. And you know what? And they confuse. That's one other thing I hope we could touch on is like they confuse the word veneration to an idolatry act. Worship is only in what it means is very clear. Worship is only what we give to God and God alone.
correct.
Veneration is what we give to the saints. You know, for example, we don't worship Mary, we venerate her. And it's also like you also got to recognize what are the two differences between what is the difference between worship and what is the difference between veneration? And what is
Yeah,
actually idolatry? Because if you actually look at biblically, if you look at what idolatry is, you're not gonna find that the Orthodox are doing that. You're not gonna find that the Catholics are doing that.
yeah. On a very important point. um, idolatry is a domain of the heart, right? So it's invisible. The Lord says it is what comes out of the heart, which is it makes something filthy or not filthy, right? For instance, in Ezekiel 14, it says that the idols were sticking out of their heart. Was there iconography sticking out of somebody's chest? Obviously not, right? So you cannot say when somebody is kissing an object or kissing an icon or venerating somebody, then therefore that is idolatry, which is a very myopic understanding. Here I have an article. Um, Prayer equals worship, the seven biblical arguments signifying the intercession of the saints versus the Protestant myopic reductionist assumption and misuse concerning prayer. So, what is the whole thesis here? The Protestant says right here, premise one, God is due to worship is due to God alone. Everybody agrees. Premise two, prayer is always an act of worship. That's the point of contention right now. Premise three, apostolic churches pray to the saints. Conclusion, apostolic churches commit idolatry. So in their mind, prayer equals worship. No. So I have here couple I have like seven for instance we have here the word aidio. All the times it's applied to God, and I have here all the time it's applied to humans. So hold on a second. We are praying to humans and asking for their intercession the same way we do for God. How does that work, Protestants? Unless there are contradictions in the New Testament or in the Bible. Same point in epikuleo, applied to God, applied to humans. Diomai, applied to God, applied to humans. Eucharistia, applied to God, applied to humans. So, prosgeomai, applied to God, applied to humans. So, hold on a second. All these words are ascribed to God, that we should pray towards God, but at the same time also ask intercession of humans. So, where's the idolatry if prayer equals worship? It doesn't. So, prayer
prayer
does
equals
not equal worship.
Yeah, because here's the thing: if prayer equals worship, then if I ask Barton to pray for me, then what? Am I worshiping him? Just saying.
Exactly.
I
Yeah.
mean, if he asked me to pray for him, is he worshiping me? Because I mean, if we're gonna use that argument and saying that prayer equals worship, then Barton and I really are idolaters at this point. Then if we're
Exactly.
asking each other to pray for each other.
Then the apostles and Christ himself are telling us to commit idolatry. Well, good job,
Exactly.
buddy. So
There you go.
great. Well, you become a Buddhist or something if the scriptures are contradicting or the Christ and apostles are wrong. No,
And
dude.
I think because here's the thing, I even have some notes on here too. Some of the examples of idolatry in the Bible, the golden calf, which is found in Exodus 32. While Moses was on Mount Sinai receiving the Ten Commandments, the Israelites created a golden calf and worshipped it. This act of idolatry angered God, turned away from him so soon after the deliverance from Egypt. Now, a lot of people will try to use that and say that that applies to us because we have statues and all that stuff. And again, that's where
Oh, Ari, I think you need to leave and come back again. Ari, I think the connection is not good as again until she comes back. Yeah, there she is. There she is.
again, I apologize. My
No
yeah.
problem.
All right. But yeah, I was just trying to explain that there are many different examples of idolatry in the Bible, and you don't see any of us doing
Yeah.
that. Just because we have or at least in Catholic Church, we have relics and we have statues and all that stuff. We're not worshiping them. Like, that helps us. The way that I see it is it reminds us, to show like great respect for the people that lived before us.
Yeah. But I have, for instance, here also another article, which I will also drop in the chat. There we go. This is, by the way, I'm going to show this one. This is, come on. There we go. 10 early church beliefs Protestants reject, the canon conundrum expounded, accept the Bible, reject its compiler. So I have here an article which has like 10 beliefs Protestants reject outright, but these are universally accepted throughout the early church. For instance, we have a beautiful icon of an ecumenical council. We have here the confession of sins, 13 witnesses, apostolic succession. We have here the real presence. Hold on, I'm going to make this one bigger. We have here baptism of infants, 29 witnesses. We have here incense and liturgical worship. The communion of saints, which is the topic of today. So here we have 35 witnesses: Ignatius, Sir of Jerusalem, Augustine, John Chrysostom, Clement, Origen, Tertullian, Hippolytus, Athanasius, Gregory of Nyssa, Basil, Jerome, Gregorius of Nazianzus, etc., etc. So all these giant of the early church, these men, these people, were compiling and exegeting and being a steward of the scriptures. So the communion of the saints was universally accepted. How do you explain this one away? Yeah, but those were fallible minutes, were traditions of the Roman Catholic Church. Like, dude, how is that possible if everywhere this was Catholicity? It was universally accepted. By the way, even one of the earliest prayers found was a prayer to Mary. I don't know if you know this. There's a particular fragment they found, just like P52 of John 18, where there's a particular prayer towards Mary, which was somewhere here, I think. Anyway.
Yeah. I mean,
what is my whole point with all these points? The Holy Spirit did really do a horrendous job concerning preserving His church. Why, if all of these doctrines were wrong, the perpetual virginity of Mary, the faith and works for salvation, 450 witnesses, then the Holy Spirit did a horrendous job of conserving His church. Yeah. Unless you're an apostolic church, then this doesn't count for you.
And this is where people, especially Protestants, they like to argue. And I have this written down. People argue that Christ is the only mediator, therefore we don't need the saints.
Okay.
Or the angels, because they say that 1 Timothy 2:5 says, God and mankind, the man Christ Jesus. This means no one else, including saints, can mediate for us. That's what a lot of people like to argue. Okay. What would you respond to somebody who said that, brother?
Oh gosh, I have an article on that. How convenient.
I knew it.
Well, you weren't aware that I already had this one?
No, I knew. I knew that. That's why I asked you.
You're throwing the curveballs. Okay, I got you. Okay.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah. Well, Ari, I'm glad you asked, because it's very convenient that I have this article. Anyway, so one of the classic passages to refute, quote unquote, the communion of saints is 1 Timothy 2:5, where St. Paul says that there's only one mediator between God and man, the man Christ Jesus. Oh, guys, what are we going to do? Okay, anyway. Here's a beautiful icon of St. Paul the Apostle. Okay. Argument 1. St. Paul the Apostle asked the Christians to intercede for another in all people 5 verses before. So here we have 1 Timothy 2 verse 1. I urge them, first of all the petition, prayers, and intercessions and thanksgiving be made for all people. So you're telling me that St. Paul literally in 5 verses contradicted himself. Again, are we going to state that the writers of the New Testament, that the Holy Spirit has created contradictions? No serious Christian should ever claim this. None. Especially not within 5 verses. So, mediation is not what St. Paul means here, which we'll be elaborating on it later on. Argument 2, prayer for one another is vitally prescribed. So we have to pray to one another. It is a prescription. We need to do this. Here we have countless examples from the Old and the New Testament where we should pray for one another.
By the
Okay.
way, that's what intercession means, praying for one another, y'all.
Exactly.
Are you saying the Bible contradicting itself? I don't know,
Yeah.
y'all, but that sounds very contradictory to me then. If Christ is the only mediator,
Didn't you know, sister?
then we know. Don't we
It's
know
just plain
anymore?
and simple. One mediator. There's no intercession of saints here.
Yeah,
Anyway.
exactly. It's not like
Okay.
this. It's not like the apostles, lived by that.
Who knows the apostles, man? Just use the
Right?
scripture, but forget the apostles, man.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And Jesus,
Argu-
you.
Argument 3. The Holy Trinity acts due to intercessions. Very important. Jesus himself, as God, acts through to the mediation intercession of his sins. So here we have from the New Testament examples. By the way, guys, if you use this article and you would copy paste all these verses into, let's say, Bible Gateway, you would have a complete list of all the examples. So all these passages right here from the New Testament and Old Testament, every time when someone asks something God to do, God does that for them. Right? So for instance, when a sick man has been brought to Christ by his friends, Jesus heals them. That is intercession, if those people who don't know. Okay. Argument 4. Jesus is the one mediator insofar as he redeemed humanity by giving himself as ransom. So, what is the one mediator thing that St. Paul is mentioning? The fact that he, as the one man, is the ransom by his blood for all people. How do we know? Well, by the way, St. Paul actually mentions everything else here in these verses. So, it's not something new that St. Paul was mentioning. Okay. We know.
By the way, I'm gonna grab my
Sure,
charger real quick.
sure,
I'll be
sure.
right
No
back.
problem. I'm going to keep on doing this one. There we go. Oh, wait. Okay. Okay. Literally the verse after. So when people use 1 Timothy 2:5, go to 1 Timothy 2:1 and then verse 6. In verse 6, it literally says, who gave himself as a ransom for all people. There she is. Hey, sister. Okay.
Hi.
What I was trying to mention is when people go to verse 5, when they go to the one mediator, go to the next verse, exactly the next verse. What St. Paul there means, who gave himself as a ransom for people. So, Ari, a question for you. Does St. Paul mean here praying for one another, that you only should pray to God? Or does it here that Christ has redeemed everybody by his blood for us?
He has redeemed himself
It literally says it right
for all
there.
of us. Yeah. And look at the one before that, though. I urge then, first of all, that petitions, prayers, intercession, and thanksgiving be made for all people.
That,
So why are we skipping verses?
that's what I'm asking.
Why? Like, why? It's not logical. I don't want to hear. You know what? It's funny because every single time a Protestant brings that up to me, I'm like, read the one before
Yeah.
that and read the one after.
Something very typical of schismatics is they have one or two verses, and every other part of the Bible needs to get propped into that one particular understanding of that particular verse. That's not how you do exegesis, buddy. And also, the fifth argument, which I actually showed before, the communion of saints was universally accepted. And I think I have here. No, I don't think it. This was actually the list I had before. Another one, actually very important. Argument 6. Come on. My thing is not working. There we go. St. Paul the Apostle's intercessory prayer for the departed Onesiphorus in 2 Timothy 1:16 to 18. Be very attentive right now. Here, St. Paul, in his second epistle to Timothy, he says, may the Lord grant mercy to the household of Onesiphorus. May the Lord grant him to find mercy from the Lord on that day. What is happening here? This passage, Onesiphorus has already passed away. Why would St. Paul mention this when Onesiphorus has already passed away? Dun, dun, dun. Okay.
Intercession.
Then
Go.
in 2 Timothy 4 19, St. Paul again sends greetings to the household, not to Onesiphorus himself, further implying that he has passed away. So, furthermore, Onesiphorus has passed away. St. Paul was a Pharisee, right? He was a
Yep.
Pharisee. What was a very typical act of Pharisees? They prayed to the deceased in Maccabees, in Baruch, in everything else. So praying towards who already have passed away was not something unfamiliar towards the Pharisees, right? So St. Paul actually did communion of saints. So St. Paul is not your buddy if it comes to not praying towards the dead body. That's not going to help you,
Yeah.
right? So there we have it.
See, there you go. There you go. And then, yeah. Boom. Protestant
Boom.
dilemma. God.
Anyway, the,
Done. Overruled.
the whole point actually is that when people have the Bible in their hands, right? People adore the Bible and should love the Bible, obviously, but you don't want to say that the Bible contradicts each other. So what has been revealed to us? So when people have the Bible in their hands, they should need they should think like, I don't want to create contradictions. I don't want to insult God that he miscommunicated everything, right? So that should be the primary spirit in which people handle the scriptures.
Yeah, and also gotta we also gotta realize, like, and that's the thing that people miss out on, is that the saints are aware of what goes on here on earth. They're very, very aware. The angels are too, by the way. I just want to point that out as well. So it's just to see how many people judge specifically the Catholics and the Orthodox because of our veneration of saints, and think that we are putting them higher above God, but it's like,
No,
it's not even that. Like, we have a true Catholic church or a true Orthodox church that is going to worship the saints. Like, it's just it's not.
exactly,
Like, that's
exactly,
idolatry. If we do, that's idolatry, and that's not a real Orthodox church, and that's not a real Catholic church. And
absolutely.
it's like, why would we not? If the saints are already holy and they're already in heaven with God, why would we not ask them for intercession?
100%.
Like, like, no offense, I would rather ask for the intercession of somebody in heaven than somebody here on earth.
I would.
I would too. I'd rather ask the intercession of Saint Augustine, y'all, than having asked for the intercession of somebody else. Like, it's just,
Hold on, I'm gonna. Well, for instance, here, but you have come to Mount Zion, to the city of the living God, the heavenly Jerusalem. You have come to thousands upon thousands of angels in joyful assembly, to the church of the firstborn whose names are written in heaven. You have come to God, the judge of all, to the spirits of the righteous made perfect. This is actually very important here. Made per. Get out of here. Anyway, sorry. Made perfect. Remember what I mentioned before? When people pass away, their situation does not get worse, it gets better. So we are being perfected. Also, John Burke mentions in its testimonies that our perception, that our sight, our hearing, our senses are on steroids. So the way how we communicate with Christ, for instance, is mainly telepathically. Like Christ speaking to you with just his eyes, for instance. You already know what he's thinking. And obviously, as God, he knows what you are thinking, right? But um, our bodies and our human nature has tainted in such a way where our senses and our feelings have been stomped and corrupted, that the life that we have right now is sick, right? So we are being redeemed, and there are countless and thousands of testimonies of, for instance, John Burke and Heidi Barr, and also Gary Habermas and Craig Keener, and you name it, that when people pass away, they are in a better position. So if there's anything at all and people can take away from this entire stream, if you have a loved one or you yourself are doubting concerning death, it is not something to fear. The only thing when people should fear in this life is, am I living after the heart of the Lord? That's all. That's the most important thing of all. Death is already won. You should live now. Does the Lord delight how I'm living my life right now here on earth? That's it.
Yep, and then I think the next thing I really want to point out, it's like, why are we so caught up in fearing about death, about the future, and all that stuff? We really need to be focusing on the present. How is it that we're living? And it's kind of like we mentioned earlier, like, why do we care about what other people think? The only opinion that genuinely matters is the one of the Lord, because He's the only one that's going to bring judgment upon us. He's the only one that's going to judge us at the end, and we're either going to be sent to hell or we're going to be sent to
Yeah.
heaven.
So,
I don't know about
no,
y'all.
no,
I would rather see everybody in heaven,
but
to be honest.
St. John Chrysostom said that you would be amazed that at the moment you were going to pass away, how few people would remember you, and that if you would know that you would do nothing else but then to please God. I don't want to sound nihilistic because I'm not a nihilist because life has a meaning for me, right? So, but still, I am aware that when I pass away, and with all the respect, forgive me, ladies, I'm just a fart in the wind. Nobody cares of me. Everybody just goes on with their day like, oh yeah, Vartan was passed away. Okay, what do we have to dinner this evening? As I know it's going to happen, but at the same time, it's not something worse. I would say it is something liberating. As you mentioned before, why would you care now what people think of you?
Yeah.
A
I
bunch,
mean,
bunch of people coming to me, Vartam, you're going online and people might think weird things of you. I'm like, I don't care. Who cares? As long as Christ is happy with me, I don't care.
yeah. I mean, and it's just it's more of our focus should be really to strive towards holiness more than anything. I think that's the main focus as well. Always try to strive to the way to the Lord. That's the only reason that the saints became the saints, y'all, is because they actually did their. I don't have my mic.
I was already going to
I don't
ask
have.
you. Okay, you already knew what I was trying to signify with this now.
Yeah,
Okay.
I know. Could you? He does this. He did this to me last time, y'all. Can you guys believe
Okay.
it? He
I
kept
have your
asking me if I had a mic,
I have your
and of
Ephesians
course,
6 put on the full armor of God, right? Yeah.
you need to tell me where you get later. You should tell me
I
where
made
you
this
got
one.
that
There's a
mic.
particular website where you just can custom make stuff for yourself. Anyway,
Okay, you should send me that later.
okay.
Uh, that way next time we go live together, I can have my mug with me.
Right, then we're going to
Yeah.
sip our tea or coffee or something just at the exact same time. You got Jesus talks, I got full armor right here.
There you go.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, I do just want to point it out, like just stressing out because I feel like everybody thinks that we have to be super perfect to be a saint and all that stuff and not commit any sin whatsoever. I'm sorry, there's nobody in this world. There's nobody in this world that has not committed a sin, unless if unless you're Catholic, then we believe that Mary was sinless. Just want to emphasize and put that out there. But apart from that, there's nobody else
Hey,
that
we do. Sorry, I'm
there,
joking. I'm
there,
joking.
there's
I'm
no, there's
joking.
nobody else that's sinless other than Jesus as well. I mean, again, but still, like we we really need to learn how to strive towards holiness. I think that's the first thing for sainthood,
Yeah,
right? What do you think?
for sure. Obviously, one of the verses before. Here, I think. Sorry, I'm seeing this particular comment. Hey, man, look what I got here.
He got it. He's not even Catholic. And look at him.
But still, this one
Come
is
on, brother.
anyway. I got this one today. I'm like already looking through this one's gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. Look at all the notes. Anyway,
Wow, that's beautiful. I have the Ascension Press one version. It's beautiful too. It's leather. Everything. Hold on. Let me pull it out. Give me a second.
okay. But to come on the point of holiness, obviously, our Lord wants us to be holy, right? So I'm gonna grab those verses where they. Mm,
Uh, Ted, you're done. Just say you're done.
what? What happened?
It's on your channel. Hold
I
on.
would allow you to sit. Oh, okay. Should I block him?
Shit, that's really inappropriate. I don't know who you're talking to, but brother, that's a no for me. Hold on, I need to pull it
I
up.
can block
Or
him
did
right
you do it?
now.
Okay, I was gonna say either you do it or I'll do
Okay,
it,
I'll do it.
but doesn't matter.
As we say,
That's.
hasta la vista. Yeah.
I saw that. I was like, no, you cannot be inappropriate during the stream. Oh, this is the Ascension Press version of this Bible, by the way.
Nice, nice.
All right,
That's
and
great.
then inside it has colorful stuff. So hold on, let me put it out there. Look at that! Isn't that beautiful? And it has these little cute. I don't know what you call them. I don't want to say bookmark because I feel like that sounds illiterate, but it has like these different colored ribbons on there. It's really cute, and I love it.
Looks great.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
yeah, but don't worry, Janice. He was blocked. Yeah. I'm
As
just
we
dying
say,
to read the whole message.
hasta la vista, we mentioned. But
Martin, I'm just really glad you stopped where you stopped and you didn't read the whole message.
yeah,
Um.
I need more.
Anyways,
I need more moderators. Anyway, it is what it is. The internet is going to internet, right? So we're speaking about the saints, particularly on Mary, and then these guys are manifesting. But anyway, but on your point of holiness, we had here God wants us to be holy and sanctified. All these passages, like be holy as I am holy, right? So super important. But then also um, the prayers of the saints are more powerful. This is actually very underestimated in the whole discussion of the communion of the saints because you, for instance, if your holiness could be as such that if you would intercede for me, then Christ would be like, okay, because of my daughter Ari, I'm going to do it for you, Vartan. Right? Because there are quote unquote intercessory prayer warriors, like your Father Joseph, right? When you had to find a job for yourself. So um, I do also have, for instance, a WhatsApp group of my brothers and sisters when you're asking questions and everything else. But also sometimes when something happens, I'm asking for the prayers. For some odd reason, I feel their prayers. I cannot. It's. I really feel some kind of internal warmth coming up. I can really sense.
it's like you can feel their prayers and you just know it's kind of like spidey senses. You just know when
Yeah,
somebody's praying for you. Yeah. I know what you
I
mean.
know
I
it's
get
I
that too,
know
brother.
it's highly subjective. But Warta, but is it according to scripture? Yeah, I know that particular stuff are subjective. I know, but first and foremost, subjectivity is not completely negatable. For instance, if you have a particular testimony or a subjective experience of your life, it could still help according to my faith. So subjectivity is not something to be disregarded. We need to be careful, obviously. But when my brothers and sisters were praying for me, it's like clockwork. When I really need them to pray for me, there's this thing that's happening internally. Like, whoa, thank you, Lord.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you're done. Goodbye. You are
Okay.
done, sir. You are something else. That's disgusting. Goodbye.
We're speaking about holiness, and this guy's popping up. Anyway,
And I bet you it's the same person as last time.
it is what it is. Doesn't matter.
I know. All right. Yeah. Anyways, we are not going to allow negativity to enter the stream. So just saying.
It
Um.
happens.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with you on that. And you know what happens to me. And again, this might be subjective. I don't know what, but I can tell when something's about to happen to somebody or they're about to go through a really hard time. Like I can just tell. Like I don't know what it is, but I either start dreaming of what's gonna happen to them, or during my prayer time, I feel like I have to pray for them because they're about to undergo a very hard
Right.
trial. And it happens to me all the time. All the time.
Okay.
It's so weird to me, and I'm like, dude, I'm like, and the thing is, I don't ever really talk about it because I don't want people to think I'm like a witch or something, you know. But because people immediately go to like, oh, you're crazy or you're just like a witch or something. But I'm like, no, I'm like It's just
Y-
I don't know what it is exactly,
I,
but I think that
what has to be said is actually very important. These types of quote unquote gifts, if these are legitimate gifts of the Spirit, I'm leaving it up to the Lord. But something, what has to be said, if you have a particular gift, you should keep it to yourself. Not in the sense that it's not of God. That's not what I'm trying to say. What you're trying to say is that, as St. Paul says in 1 Corinthians 10:12, lest you think you stand, you fall. What happens is when people have particular gifts or particular intuitions, which could be right in a particular accord, you could become boastful, like, oh, God has given me the spirit of this and the spirit of that, and I got to give this and give to that. Trust me, if there's anything I know for certain concerning Christ, is if you become a little bit boastful, like smack, he's going to humble you
and
right
that's
away.
and that's why I don't talk about certain things. There are certain things that I know that the Lord has given me to be able to see, hear, or sense certain things.
Yeah.
And I don't really open up too much about that because people are kind of weird especially when those kind of topics pop up, you know. But it has happened to me before. What's crazy? So this is a crazy story, y'all, and I promise you I ain't lying. The Lord is my witness. I'm not lying, but don't give me that time.
I'm listening.
um, uh, yeah, I
I'm gonna
know,
grab
but
my
okay.
teeth, so I'm listening. I got my eyebrow up, so go for it, sister.
Anyways, so my okay, so about a year ago, I had a dream, multiple dreams, that my sister-in-law was gonna have another baby, and it was a girl. I ended up seeing the baby, and they didn't honestly like they didn't talk or anything, but I saw her holding another baby, and it was a baby girl. I saw her face and everything. And I kept dreaming this, and I was like, "Why do I keep dreaming this?" Because I had my little nephew, so like I love being an aunt, you know, and so I was like, I'm good with like having one nephew, like pretty cool, you know. And they obviously they weren't planning on having any more kids or anything like that. Tell me why this happened a year ago, multiple times where I've dreamt it. Then just this year, they told us that they were having a baby, and they're having a girl, by the way.
Hmm.
And it was crazy. It's like but the thing is, we didn't know what the gender was until their wedding in August, and I kept telling them, I was like, I have a very strong intuition it's gonna be a girl
Ari,
because I kept dreaming it, and like
sorry. Am I going to get married coming year? Have you seen dreams of me getting
I'm not
married
telling
next
you.
year? Okay, okay. Just
Chill
asking.
out, chill out,
Okay,
chill out, Martin,
okay.
Martin, chill out.
Just asking. Maybe you had a dream of me marrying
Okay,
coming year. I don't know.
men,
Okay.
men. Okay, anyways, and so sorry, and so what happened was at their wedding, like everybody kept telling them, oh, it's gonna be a boy, it's gonna be a boy, but I had the same dreams again, that it was a girl, and then I was like, nope, I'm like, it's gonna be a girl, and everybody thought that I was crazy. At their wedding, they did the reveal at their wedding publicly for everybody for the first time, and it was a girl,
Hmm.
and I'm kidding, I'm not even kidding, brother. The moment that they said it was gonna be a girl, both of them, they immediately looked at my direction, and they were like, you were right.
Yeah.
Like, how did you know that we were gonna have a girl? And I was like, I ain't saying nothing,
Nice.
but I knew. And
Wow.
yeah, that's not a coincidence. I don't know
That,
about y'all. I don't
I don't
think
believe
that's a
in
coincidence.
coincidence.
I don't
It could
either.
be an intimation with the Lord. Like the Lord obviously is very personal with you. Like, hey Ari, between you and me, huh? Okay, gotcha. Right.
I know, and it kept killing me because like my mom, she asked me, she's like, "What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?" And I didn't want. I mean, I told her it was a girl, but she wanted to know what the name, because I know what the name's gonna be too.
Hmm.
Like the Lord revealed to me what the name was gonna be through that dream. I know what she looks like, and I know what the name's gonna be. And my mom was like, "What's the name? What's the name?" I was like, "I can't tell you what the name is. And I'm not gonna say it on here because I know she's probably gonna watch this later."
Oh, okay.
But yeah, so I'm like,
Beautiful.
that's for a moment I'm not gonna lie, I was a little spooked out because I've had situations like that happen, or like where something for happen with like with the friends and stuff, where I'm like, where I would tell them, I'll be like, where like they won't share with me what they're going through, but I already know that they're about to go through this hard trial, and I was like, oh, um, I've been praying for you. Like I have a sense that you are going through this and that, and they will look at me. They were like, "How did you know that? I didn't even share that with you. How could you possibly know what I'm going through?
Like
Tell me why that's how
perhaps the
coincidence."
gift of clairvoyance seems like it. The gift of clairvoyance, I think.
I've been told that I have the gift of prophecy, and that I have to give the visions because
Mm.
of stuff that's been happening with me. I don't like to put a label on it just because I'm like whatever the Lord wants to do with me, He can do with me. I'm like, because I feel like the moment I start putting a label on something, or the moment that I start thinking about it too much, I don't want to get to a point where it's like, what if these are special giftings that the Lord's giving me, and he's trying to test me whether I'm going to be humble with this,
Yeah,
or
no,
I'm
no,
going to
no.
be really prideful with
It's
this,
not
and I
a,
don't
it's
want
not a
that.
question if he's going to. He is going to do that
Yeah, and I don't want him
for
to take it
sure.
away from me. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's just, I was like, I like the bond that I have with him. I don't want that to go away.
Beautiful.
So
That's the whole thing. Because I already mentioned to you before, the amount of boastfulness when this that those who exalt themselves shall be humbled, and those who humble themselves shall be exalted. Right. So when you
I'm like, again, how are you still here again, brother? What the? Hold on,
anyway,
you're, oh my gosh, the same guy.
yes, it's the same guy. He's laughing. Could you imagine like spending your time in this particular way? Anyway,
Oh my
no
gosh.
problem.
And the thing is, he does it on your channel.
Doesn't
That's
matter.
what.
No
Oh
problem.
my
It
gosh.
it's going to happen either way. So, but to answer Chuck
Sorry.
McNorris, for now we don't take question, but because you insist, Numbers 31, 17 to 18 does not imply that the women who have been captured should be molested, quote unquote. What's happening is that Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14 is the normative way that if a particular group has to be neutralized, quote unquote, that the women should be married off, should have been mourned, and if they are not alleged to marry, it should have been let go. So Numbers 31 is not about implying that the women who are captured should be raped. St. Paul says in Titus 1:13, to the pure all things are pure, to the impure nothing is pure. So if this particular passage gives you the wrong impression, it says a lot about you. So Numbers 31 is about what people should do when the situation happens according to Deuteronomy 21, 10 to 14. There we go.
Yeah. But anyways, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to freak out on you, but like, it's just, I was like, dude.
You got
How
fun,
it,
sister.
it's very interesting, brother. It's very interesting that they are now start. Keep in mind, we did a stream last time and nobody manifested. But how is it that we do a stream this time
Yeah, yeah.
and people are now starting?
Next time we're going to do a stream, particularly on Mary. We'll see what happens.
No,
It's a
we need to.
guarantee.
You know what's gonna attract more of the heretics. We should bring William on.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, we should.
Ooh,
I hope. I
we should
hope.
do it.
If does Mary have to be called co-redemptrix? That would be perfect as a title.
Oh, he's already addressed that.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course he does.
Yeah, but you know what? Yeah, he's already addressed that. You already know that. But yeah, I would love to. We should do a stream. We should do a Mary stream, and it'll just be the three of us.
Yeah,
Boom. Yeah, and you know what? And it's gonna be funny because William's not gonna let it go. He's gonna go crazy with it.
yeah,
But
for sure. No,
we love William.
William is, in my estimation, absolutely one of the top Mariologists for sure. Like it's his devotion, his work. Love it, man. Absolutely.
I think he's a great person. He's somebody that's really been helping me a lot, especially like learning more about my faith and really just helping me learn and really correcting me on a lot of different things, and a lot of people don't know this, but like William does correct me in private, y'all. Like, and you know what? And we have that kind of friendship, and I love that because sometimes he'll be like, "Ari, like this actually, like that's wrong," because sometimes I'll ask something, and then he'll be like, "Actually, sister, it's this or it's that," and so it's nice to kind of have people that know more than you to learn from.
Yeah,
Um,
but that is actually the prescribed way to learn anything. You should not figure out stuff on your own. We are a community based religion, right? So, and obviously feedback is very important. But you already are telling that the private feedback that you get from William is like sharpening you all the more, which is gorgeous, which is
Yeah.
exactly what we want. Which also obviously I, as brother of Arthur, hope to do for as many people as I can. Right. So
Yeah.
love
And
that.
it is very interesting just because like I feel like ever since I started like my channel and stuff, I never thought I would get to know so many people and like especially like have like grow these different friendships. And then like not only that, but also having people that I can just call up and be like, "Hey, I have a question about this.
Yeah.
I have a question about that." You know, like William and Sam have been they've been like the most essential people that have been helping me genuinely grow in my faith. Even though poor Sam, I get on his last nerves because I'm a little slow when it comes to learning, but he's a sweetheart too, and he really is, and I love both of them dearly. And I think right now I've gotten close with somebody else as well. His name is Divine Mercy Apologetics.
Yeah. James.
James,
Mm.
he's great. He's great, by the way, and he's also been helping me a bit as well. The times where William hasn't been able to, because William's so busy. You know how hard it is to get him to even sit down because of how crazy his schedule gets. So even having James kind of somebody else that I can
Yeah.
kind of ask and lean on is really good for me. Um, but yeah, it is really cool. And even when it comes to orthodoxy, which is crazy, and I know you know this, like I go to you sometimes to ask, like, hey, what do the Orientals believe about this or
Yeah.
that? So it's
But
very
but
interesting.
when I started the channel, like within a couple months, when I was actually like working like crazy, like wow, I had like Gary Habermas, I had the name of Lee McDonald, like Father Richard Robert Spitzer. I'm like fanboying while I'm interviewing them, right? So like these are like the top notch of concerning our faith. And I'm like I have them on speed dial, for instance. So
Yeah.
also all these specialists, if I can call them, they are not like Justin Bieber or Madonna. They're like 3 to 4 agencies, and you need to get to in order to contact them, right? So you have literally have their phone number or email address. So the communication is actually very fluid and very fast, if you ask me, which I like. And also a tremendous amount of friendship. I'm good buddies with Lee Martin McDonald, by the way. I'm good buddies with
Oh.
Gary Habermas. Like I don't know, like one of the biggest scholars in the resurrection. Right. So it's very fun to have all these. I don't want to say at your disposal. I don't like to use that word, but to have them around you. So,
Yeah.
but but also as your brother, obviously, when you have questions about orthodoxy, I also have like something called imposter syndrome, meaning I think I am incompetent. Therefore, I need to work more. Therefore, I need to study more. Then I can get public. Remember last time? People think like, oh, if you go online, just act confident and you'll nail it. No, that's not
Yeah.
how stuff works, especially not in apologetics. If it comes
Oh, absolutely
to
not.
intellectual integrity, you need to get your stuff together.
Yeah, and I think that's why like it's so, and I tell people this, we need to be careful about what we're doing up online. I'm like, especially if you want to go into apologetics, I'm like, you need to at least have several years under your belt before you even think
Sure.
about doing that. Be under the leadership under somebody. I'm like, now if you're like me who's not doing apologetics because that's not really my thing, like I don't plan on going. I mean, if unless the Lord wants me to, then whatever He wills with it. But I think so far where He's taken my channel, it hasn't been leaning up to apologetics. It's
Yeah.
been more of, I want you to have a conversation with people and I want you to sit down. I want you to ask them the questions that maybe you haven't been able to ask people, in your personal life. And so it's nice for me to be able to to be able to be like, I can bring somebody that's more knowledgeable than me. I can sit down with them, have a conversation with them on my podcast, but also learn from them.
Yeah, but you don't have to do apologetics per se in order to help concerning the ministry or the apostolate, as Roman Catholic. I love the word apostolate, which the Roman Catholics have. But as mentioned
Yeah.
before, we have dry information, we have objective facts, we have sources and whatever. That's a department. But if your specialty is testimonies, spiritual encounters, or anything else, that also can be very nourishing and very helpful for a lot of other people. You don't know how
Yeah.
stuff works, right? So, but if somebody's coming to you like, yo, why does Augustine say this and not that? I'm like, okay, they need to go towards William, obviously, but don't
Yeah.
don't underestimate yourself how effective you can be.
I feel like, and I feel like that's something that I'm starting to learn with. I'm starting to learn about, it's more of like, I'm like, there are things that I can do that maybe William or Sam or any of these top
Yeah.
apologists can do. I'm like, there are things that they can do way better than me that I can't do, but I have other different. I think and you know what? And I've been really meditating up on this, and I really think that I think the label that probably will fit me a little bit better is evangelist more than anything.
Hmm.
More on the evangelist kind of side, kind of doing like a little bit of like what Matt Brad does, Lila Rose, all these different people. I feel like that's kind of where I'm getting to, because they're not like they're not apologists. Like Matt Brad is not an apologist. He does Pines with Aquinas. Like everybody knows the
Hmm.
Catholic realm. You guys know who he is. Like he's nowhere near an apologist. He doesn't do debates or anything like that. But he is somebody that I feel like I'm starting to follow up in a similar direction of where to take the podcast. And that's why I tell people, I'm like, I don't
Could
like.
could
I'd rather
you
leave the.
could you imagine Ari from Jesus Talks in 10 years if it would go on like this? Lord have mercy, that would be amazing. That would be great.
Dude, I have you done this podcast for so long. Like I literally started to hold on. Let me tell you when I first uploaded my
Mhm.
first video ever, because I literally don't even have that much time that I've done this.
Hmm.
It's been about I started this 7 months ago.
Well, look at you.
7 months ago, and you're telling me that from those 7 months, I've gotten over 690 subscribers. And I've gotten over some of the top apologists. I've gotten William on. I've gotten even Voice of Reason before his entire thing happened. I had him on. I'd had Gary Mashuda on. I've had James. I
You had
just
me
recently had
on.
James on. I had you on. I had so many other people on, and I'm just like,
You know what happened when we did our first episode? You were like doing a story on Instagram, like, guys, it's like my best favorite person ever. I'm like super happy. Next person, oh my god, this person like my first favorite. I love him. Everything. I'm like, hey, I thought I was your
to be fair,
favorite.
I
I
have
became
a
jealous.
listen. I have multiple favorites. Okay,
How
but
how does
but I
that
have said
work?
this. No, hold on. You have to keep them top 10, top 5, top this
Okay,
favorite people. So, you're on that list. But just
thank
saying.
you.
But no, but you know what? And I did tell Jonathan this, or Roots of Faith, by the way. I did tell him this. I was like, this guy's. I'm like, even though he's the only Armenian Orthodox person that I know, he's my favorite Armenian Orthodox.
Oh,
I'm like, and I don't think anybody else can. I don't think anybody else can win this place. So
I'm honored.
you're my favorite Armenian. Even if another Armenian comes, I don't care.
Oh. Okay,
There
yeah.
you go.
I hope Armenians are going to do well. So, but I'm very happy too that when you think of Armenian Apostolic Church of Oriental Orthodoxy, that I'm one of the guys that's popping up in your mind, like, hey, you should go to Voten. So I'm very happy to. So yeah,
Gary, that's where I've seen you. Yeah. Yep. I've been on Gary's lately. We've been doing several collabs already. It's pretty cool.
mm,
Um, this is my second collaboration with Bertan, so I'm very very happy with it. But yeah, because last time we tried to do a stream together and that failed epically because the Wi-Fi was not
yeah,
wanting to work
this
in
is
our
what it
favor.
is.
Is this what it is? Um, I do have a question for you though,
Sure.
because I've been really curious about this, and I was taking up notes these last couple of days about this topic that we were doing, and one of the things because I've been hearing contrary answers, so I'm not too sure. So in the Catholic space per se, we have what's called the canonization of the saints.
Right.
Do you guys, as Armenian Orthodox, do you guys have something similar to that?
The canonization of saints.
Yes, or what is your process like? Because from what I've heard, and again, I could be wrong, I know your guys' is very different than what we do. So
Is your question mainly if we canonize saints or the process of how we canonize saints?
the process of how you guys canonize
Okay.
saints,
Okay. Um,
if you guys have a process.
well, I have to. First of all, we've got news today that our church is trying to canonize Komitas, which is a musician and theologian of the early 20th century. So, presumably, in the near future, he will be the next saint of our church. Then, one second.
Here goes Martin flexing something.
The most hold on a second, bunch of dust on it. Sorry, guys.
Proof that he doesn't clean his room, guys.
Thank you for exposing me. Anyway, it is what it is. The most recent saints we have are the members of the Armenian genocide. So in 1915, we had 1.5 million Armenians who were martyred for their faith. Um, so
I don't know where he went, y'all. I think his Wi-Fi crashed. I guess I'm gonna be taking over a show, guys. You know, I don't know where he went. Uh, I'm taking over his show, guys. Boom. There you go. Cause I don't know where he went. He disappeared. Literally disappeared.
there we are.
Oh, there he is.
Okay.
Oh man. Okay, just kidding. Um,
We're speaking about the saints. Obviously,
mhm.
the criteria for sainthood obviously is holiness, humility, um, taking care of others. Raptured. Raptured. Yeah, that's what
That's
happened.
what I was saying. I was like, I'll have to take over his show then. Boom.
Anyway, I have to say that before the canonization of the Armenian genocide martyrs in 2015, the most recent before was 400 years before Gregory of Tatev, which is one of my favorite saints, by the way, which is this saint. So I wouldn't say that there is a process of canonization if there are particular criteria in which. Um, but I have to say that the Armenians are not that quick of making saints right away. I would say. Okay, Mister. There she
Okay.
is. Yeah.
Yeah. I can hear. Sorry, I almost got raptured too. It's okay. Uh, it's like I would like the Armenian Church to canonize more saintly people. I keep asking Coptic saints for help. That's what somebody's saying on there.
Okay.
You know what's crazy though is that like, and not to flex or anything, but like, I love being a Catholic. Just I get so excited when we do canonization of saints because I'm just like, yes. I'm like more people. I get so excited, and I teach catechism to my small kiddos. I teach fifth and sixth graders, and it it baffles me because like during such a short amount of time, I've been able to kind of show them who the saints are, why we care about the saints, and then like talk about the saint canonizations and why they should care, and it's very very interesting to see like the differences between like the way that we do it and the way that you guys do it.
Yeah.
Which is what I was trying to bring up, which is like what does your process kind of look like? because I think for Eastern Orthodox, I know that their process is different too. So
Mm, mm.
yeah, um, yeah. So do you have a favorite saint, by the way?
Saint Paul, Saint John Chrysostom, Saint Basil, um, Isaiah, Isaiah the prophet. Mm, of the Armenian Church, yeah, Gregory of Tatev, Saint Gregory of Tatev. His uh, if it comes to temperament, we're very much alike. Like Gregory of Tatev is how would you say, very protective of his own. When you have your own brothers and sisters, and there are external threats trying to take your people away, then that line of defense that comes up, and the polemics and apologetics and the arguments that Gregory of Tatev brings is very much like how I do stuff. So I'm asking for his intercession a lot of the times. By the way, we are working on a big project. I would say, I would actually say a very big project. This is something that I would like to ask the intercessions of Saint John from. I'm going to put that one out there.
Okay. I'm also gonna be part of a big project as well.
Oh boy.
Um, and I'm really excited. This is gonna be. I think I'm gonna get flown out next year to do this project, so I'm very very excited. I can't spill too much, y'all, but
Okay,
it's
okay. No
but
problem, sister. Okay,
I never get invited to anything, so like me getting invited to this is really exciting for me.
okay.
Um, but yeah, I think man, I love the Saints. I'm so glad you say St. Paul is your favorite.
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, like he is oh my gosh, I love his story. Um his testimony to me is just like it's beautiful. It's
Gorgeous.
beautiful really.
Yeah.
Um I think my other favorite saints, I'll be honest with y'all, we just canonized a saint in the Catholic Church, Bartolo Longo, and basically he was a satanic priest,
Right. Yeah,
and
yeah.
he was a satanic priest, and then he's finally a saint, converted to Catholicism. He is a saint now, and he's called like I think he's called like the apostle of like the rosary, because Catholics we pray the rosary. And so it's really cool, and I've been really asking a lot for his intercession, and I think his story, I don't know what it is, but I really like the intense messed up people.
Okay, that's
Because the
okay.
saints,
I'm gonna take a little bit of distance. Okay.
no. I'm saying like those with really messed up like past. Like those are the ones.
You,
Those are
you,
the ones that are being canonized saints. Those are the ones that I'm like
but you know
drawn
what? What
to.
also a functional thing is of saints, you can empathize with them, which is
Yeah.
like I mentioned at the very early part of our stream. They're just like you and me. So the thing is also to use them as examples. Like they have run the race. They are now at the heavenly Jerusalem. They are now made perfect. They are now not glorified in a sense of theosis and salvation, but when you read the saints and when you hear about them, like it's like, with all the respect, monkey see monkey do, right? It's like they're like
Yeah.
helping you. They're like when you are running the race right now, they are rooting for you, but they know how you've been,
Yeah.
they know how you've lived, they know what your situation is right now. As mentioned before, over and over and over again, Christianity is a community centered religion.
And it
Community,
doesn't
community.
matter. And it doesn't matter if you're Orthodox or Catholic. I just want to put that
Yeah,
out too.
yeah,
It
absolutely.
does not matter, And it's crazy because like I feel like people always want to put like they want to put like a wall, in the middle of us, and I'm like, let me break that wall. Just be like, no, like I'd rather throw that wall away,
I would say break that wall in order to dialogue with each other. Like I
Exactly.
love dialogues. I love dialogues. Disagreements, no problem. Come here. Let's speak this one through, right? So
this is why I don't do disagreements, brother. I like to just dialogue, and I like to just hear the other person, even if I fully disagree with you.
yeah,
I'll be like, Barton is absolutely crazy, but you know what? It's okay. I respect it, and I still love him for
yeah.
it. So
But I think also that it is. My apologies, women. My apologies. It's effeminate in the sense of I don't need to speak to you. I know I'm right. You need to repent. I'm like, I don't. Come on, all right. So, but I do. It's not a. You are not a person of integrity if you're not willing to hear out the other person. Like I don't. I'm not saying I love disagreements in a sense of vitriol and attacks and ad hominems. That's not the reason why I'm mentioning this. What I love about disagreements, it sharpens me as well. When I hear claims, when I hear propositions, it makes me dive all the more and makes me more stronger in my own tradition. So I'm have
Yeah.
to thank all the quote unquote opponents, whoever it may be. I don't care, but it makes me concerning my craft all the better, which I'm thankful for. And obviously, we need to approach it with a soft heart for sure. Everybody should come into the discussion with a soft heart and open and to be receptive for sure.
Yeah. And I also think that like it's because I feel like people focus too much on what we don't. What are like the non similarities between certain things, and that's what I hate. Like personally, I hate that, and like that's why I like having these kinds of dialogues because I'm like, hey, actually, we have a lot more in common
Yeah,
than you think, you know. And those are that's like for me, like when I do my channel, when I do my stuff, when I talk now that I'm talking to more Orthodox people, that's what I try to do. Is I always try to highlight what are some things that we have in common, or what are some common grounds that we have,
we should.
you know. And I try not to focus too much on like the this is what we don't have in common, and like I personally like I don't care, you know. Like personally like
Oh
that's
yeah,
not the purpose of why I do
but
things.
but on in a very serious note, especially concerning to Protestantism and Restorationist cultists like Jehovah's Witnesses, Mormons, or whatever, we should for sure signify all the more how we much more we are in communion. We have split from the fifth century, but look at all the commonalities which we have. Dude, it's
Yeah.
mind-boggling. I kid you not. I think last time when we spoke, I mentioned this. I was at I'd had a debate on Sola Scriptura with another Armenian guy, and he was telling me like, "Hey, Varta, you guys from the apostolic churches, you would unify with each other if you just go to the scriptures." I'm like, dude, you people, you have been around for 500 years. For 500 years, you just went to the scripture. Look at what you are now 40,000 denominations. We from the apostolics were just four, and that 2,000 years. Four churches in 2,000 years and 40,000 in 500 years. Which one is more divisive? Come on.
And keep in mind we all have apostolic succession when it comes
Yeah.
to the apostolic churches, you know, even though there's some obviously some differences, but like it's not, there's really more similarities than there are differences. Then when you look at a Protestant, like two Protestants, they can't, a Baptist and a Pentecostal, they're they can't agree on
They can't
anything.
agree on any.
An evangelical with the Pentecostal and with they can't agree on anything. An Orthodox and a Catholic, they can agree on a lot of different things.
You know what? When an Armenian evangelical a couple of weeks ago told me, it's like the Roman Catholics use the word Catholic, right, as a name for the church. We say apostolic churches. We the others say Orthodox, right? So all these words, everybody is apostolic, everybody is Catholic, everybody is Orthodox. But then a Armenian evangelical was telling me like, but Vartan, wait, but the Roman Catholic Church is not apostolic. Have you read
What?
the Have you read Romans? The book of Romans, Saint Paul, who established the church in Rome, is not an apostle. Like some
Oh my
people are just
gosh. Some people are
oblivious.
just clueless. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. It's like, and you know what? I'm loving to see there. I feel like there's been a lot more unity between us than there has
Yeah.
been, like online, a lot more unity than there has been like disagreements. Unless you count like the Eastern Orthodox, which some of them are kind of a little, not all of them, but a large majority of them are very aggressive. But I feel like the Oriental and the Catholics, like I feel like we're kind of getting there. We're kind of getting there slowly.
Yeah. What I want to mention, like how I am as Vartan, how I am, like as I mentioned before, Gregory of Tatev. My whole thing is I am prepared to do polemics in the sense of when it is necessary. I do have the fist at the back of at my back. I'm not planning to be assaultive or whatever, but I am like thinking through that if I would get to attack, or a brother or sister would be attacked on this particular stuff, how am I going to defend myself? So I'm trying to be prepared. So I know that a lot of Eastern Orthodox, Ortho whatever, that they may be aggressive. They would come uh, trying to win over arguments against my side. I know that's going to happen. I'm not planning to trample them or to eviscerate them in that particular unholy indignation. But I do have that particular fist at the back of me when it is necessary. I'm just telling you. But that's just me.
Eh,
That's
That's
just
a,
me.
that's why Sam calls you the he says you're like Wolverine. That's
Armin
what he told me the
Wolverine.
other day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Trust me, I got, I
um
got, I got anger. I need anger management. Sam Shamoon would disown me if he would know how I would be if it concerning anger.
that's how I
I'm,
feel. You know what? It's funny. It's really funny to me because like everybody is always like, it was like, "Oh, you seem so sweet and so kind," and I'm like, I can be,
yeah,
but but like girls are forgetting I'm Mexican and I can lose my like that, and
yeah,
not only that, I have come head to head with people. People would be very very shocked to see the, and you know, I've never, the thing online is I've never ever showed it online, like the full angry side of myself. That's because I've been really learning to control it, because I do have anger issues, and I do I'm very like, I'm either gonna hold it in and I'm gonna explode later.
yeah,
Oh my gosh.
yeah. I've heard, by the way,
Yeah.
an article of should Christians be effeminate piety signalers? The biblical rebuke of cowardice, veiled as virtue. So here we have obviously John 2. Then we have here, for instance, the Lord scoffs at the Lord laughs at them. I laugh at your calamities. Elijah mocked them. So I have this article at the back when somebody is telling you, but I don't see Christ in you, Barton. I sense a spirit of anger in you, and I'm like, you don't know what type of spirit this is, buddy.
It's like
Literally,
you
they're
don't
like,
know what that.
Barton, I sense you're angry, and then there's a spirit of anger in you, but I have the love of Christ in me, so I forgive you, brother. I'm like, dude.
You know what's funny is that I've been told that before too. I've been told that they're like, I sense that you're very angry and that you're very cruel and you just want vengeance on people. I'm like, girl, I'm about to smack you upside the head if you don't stop talking. Respectfully, I already did that, but listen, I'm like, stay away from me. Like, and I always tell people, if I'm mad, stay away from me. Stay away from me. Give me my
Okay.
space, because if I am heated, I
Yeah.
will obliterate anybody that comes my way.
Thank God the Atlantic Ocean is between us right now.
literally, literally, you're all the way in Armenia, and I'm over here in the
Yeah.
U.S. When are you gonna come back in the U.S.?
God willing, next June, I'm planning to go to St. Ignatius Seminary at the East Coast. And then a couple weeks later, I'll be coming back to Los Angeles.
Ooh,
Yeah. God
interesting.
willing. God willing.
Where's the first place that you mentioned? Where's that at?
Which is like close to New York City. There's a seminary called St. Ignatius Seminary. One of our top Armenian scholars of the Apostolic Church are there. I'm in contact with the dean. The projects that we're working on, I want to go there. I want to do interviews. I want to bring all my camera stuff and audio equipment with me to interview like one of the top professors there, God willing. Then I want to meet Abuna Lazarus again. I want to meet my brothers again.
Okay.
So you're also now at that area or not?
I am around the Chicago area.
Okay.
I'm near Chicago. But next year I will be flying out. I'm not sure yet. They haven't thought of a place yet, but I there's a mutual friend of ours that's gonna probably fly me out to do a project with them soon. So
Okay.
I'm very very excited. You know, and I hope we can meet. I hope it's around the same dates we can meet up. That'd be so cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Like
so
last time,
I'm
I
very
should have
excited.
met Sam for the first time, but he had a meeting with his daughters. But his daughters are obviously the world to him. So I was like, nah,
Oh
we'll
yeah,
come next
he
time.
loves his. That man, I've never met a man who loves his daughters as much as Sam does.
Yeah.
He like man, he's such a good dad. And I do want to ask you something. I don't know if you want to address this or not. Are our precious dear brother Jonathan has been under a lot of heat lately
Yeah.
because of his pages. And the only reason I want to bring it up is because I know you love him and I love him too. He's a great brother of ours. Um, I think it's really sad that people are starting to bash him again for his channels for Roots of Orthodoxy and Roots of Faith. You know, what is your, like, you as an Orthodox, like, what is your viewpoint on him being a Roman Catholic, inquiring Orthodoxy, but yet he runs the Orthodox channel and yet he runs his other one.
Okay. Thank you. First of all, thank you very much for bringing up this topic. It could take a little while in order to substantiate our defense of Jonathan. First of all, um, Jonathan is one of the most purest brothers you can ever meet. Like the amount of effect Jonathan may would have had for I don't know how many people is beyond words. Like when I had the honor to meet him last July and August, he already told me that he had a background in secularism, but he had a background in media. So his skills concerning interviews, video editing, media, and all that type of stuff was already like built in him. And the Lord used that talent in order to his ministry. He has also that inquiring spirit, like, hey, I want to hear you out. I want to hear you out. I want to hear you out. I'm trying to invite everybody. His interviews with Abuna Lazarus have been top notch. We literally went to the coast in order to look at the ocean, and at that particular coast, people recognized Abuna of the interview he did with Jonathan. So Jonathan is absolutely like there's if you would imagine like water with all the boats. Jonathan's work is like elevating everybody. Everybody's benefiting from Jonathan's work, and obviously his brothers and the people around him and the team that he's working with, and also with Jared and the other brothers.
Yeah.
Him being a Roman Catholic, um, he is searching. I don't know. I think it was perhaps a couple of years where he started to take his faith seriously. If he would able to convert and this and that, I already told them I'm not interested in converting you to Oriental Orthodoxy. My whole point is are you good informed? That's all it is. Like you, Roman Catholic sister, stay Roman Catholic, learn everything as good as you can, and then years later we'll see how that will end. That's my policy. The fact that he is being critiqued now is a misrepresentation of his intentions. Everywhere where he has come, a particular priest, I forgot his name, he already let him know, like, hey, I'm a Roman Catholic, but I'd still like to interview you. And then what the priest said, what does it matter that you're a Catholic? That was his answer. Like, good on you, buddy. Like, if you're a Roman Catholic and you're inquiring, God bless you. So if the critique is that he himself was portraying himself as an Eastern Orthodox while being a Roman Catholic, he himself already told the priest that he is a Roman Catholic inquiring into all the apostolic churches. So there is no, how would you say, uh, point of contention concerning his integrity. So that's my whole spiel concerning Jonathan.
Yeah. And as somebody who also knows Jonathan very well, they've known him for several months now, grown very close with him, have talked to him almost every day. He's a really good brother of mine, honestly, and I really do love and I respect him a lot for the work that he has done. But I have seen so many people being impacted by his channels who have either one or two, either they've converted to Catholicism or they've converted to Orthodoxy. And I think that's a beautiful thing because at the end of the day, he's kind of helping out both sides.
Everybody,
If you think about it,
everybody.
he's helping out everybody. Into what a lot of people don't know is that this is a long journey for him. Like this isn't something that
Yeah.
he's gonna figure out in a month and 2 months, a year, 2 years, 3 years. Like some people take longer for that process. And you know what? What would be really messed up if he would have went up to these priests with like, hey, I'm Eastern Orthodox and I want to interview you. Knowing the fact that he's Roman Catholic. Then right there I'd be like,
Then
yo,
would be
like
a
that's
point of
messed up.
contention, but it's not the case. It is not the case. Like baptisms or shifting from church to church is not something cheap. Like I'm not interested if you're 15, 16, 17 years old, like, oh, I converted to Orthodox. I don't care what your testimony is. With all the respect, right? So, but if you have been studying for like 60 years, 70 years, whatever, and then you convert, okay, then I would like to hear what you have to say. So be patient with everybody. Be patient.
Yeah.
So
And I mean, people are thinking that maybe he's probably even forgetting his own faith, but it's also like
no.
that's why he has Roots of Faith on. Keep in mind, on Roots of Faith, he's had more Catholics than he's had Orthodox on Roots of Faith. On Roots of Orthodoxy, because it's again, it's in the title, Orthodoxy.
Now,
That's why he's interviewing those people.
Jonathan is living out Proverbs 18:17. A neighbor seems a person seems right until a neighbor comes and questions him. In a sense, what I mentioned before, you are not a person of integrity if you do not want to hear out another person. What is Jonathan doing? He's trying to give everybody a voice so that we are all better informed. He's literally living out that particular spirit. Good on him.
Yeah.
So a critique against the Oriental Orthodox, for instance, yeah, the Oriental Orthodox are not present online. When we are now present, all of a sudden it's also not good. What should we do now? Should we be present? Should we not be present? I don't get it, right? Whatever it's like the how does the saying already go?
I mean,
Anyway,
there's also people that are mad because like they even got mad at the guy who owns runs the Orthodox Spirit. I forgot what his name was. Mike,
yeah,
right?
I
I
think
think
so.
his name is
Yeah,
Mike. Yeah, yeah, and they same thing because he doesn't have Oriental on his page. He's called the Orthodox Spirit, and people are mad at him because
me,
on his channel, because he's saying like, well, people would think that because you put Orthodox, they think Eastern Orthodox. No, you're just assuming. But keep in mind, Oriental Orthodox people
trust
are
me.
also
The
Orthodox.
the the level of critique, the level is superficial. It's also highly uninformed and highly unfavorable. Like it's a hit piece. It's not about giving. It's not hearing the brothers out. So I, it's unfortunate that people are still thinking this way, but it is what it
Yeah,
is.
it is. And you know what? I'm very glad that you guys made statements. I know you
Yeah,
and you and Abuna and I forgot what his name was.
Agan and
Again,
Abuna. Yeah,
yeah, like
yeah.
a lot and
Daniel
Deacon
Kakish,
Burnett.
which you also interviewed. Yeah,
Yeah, so like everybody has made public statements about this, and I'm very glad because that way people can see like, hey, like you guys are sticking up for him as well.
yeah,
And keep in mind, these people that he's interviewing, none of them are being forced to be interviewed. It's by their own personal choice. And by the way, I'm 100% certain that if for some reason Jonathan did an interview with the priest and the priest didn't like how the interview turned out and he asked him, hey, can you take it down? You think Jonathan would say no? Knowing Jonathan, I know he would be like, okay. And one of the things he's always told me, and he's like, if a priest ever asks something of me, I will do it. He's like, I will 100% do it. He's like, he has a
come on.
huge amount of love for these people that he
Yeah,
interviews for his craftsmanship. He's not just posting just whatever. I'm like, again, a lot of these priests that he interviews, oh, I think he froze up. Uh, you froze up for me. Uh-oh. Okay. Oh, wait. Can you talk?
yeah, I'm here.
Okay. I thought for a moment I thought your mic was muted. My bad. Anyways, but yeah, we were just saying, like, stop being so harsh on Jonathan, y'all. Be patient
Yeah,
with him. He's on his own journey. Really pray for him. Really pray for him that the Lord is able to guide him and really help him through this faith journey that he's going on right now. Whether he
yeah,
becomes Orthodox or whether he sticks with being Catholic, I think that we all need to just mind our business and really just pray for him instead of being so
Yeah,
quick to judge online and jump to wanting to basically, slaughter this poor guy. Like, he has such a kind heart, and he has such a huge love for both faiths, and so I think what he's
agree.
doing is beautiful.
Could not agree more. Yeah,
Yeah.
but he truly loves all the apostolic churches. Like uh, he has an innocent curiousness about almost everything. So yeah,
Yeah.
what else can
Yeah.
you ask for an interviewer of all things? So
Yeah. I agree. Yeah. That's all I got to say. I mean, I just wanted to bring it up because I know that a lot of people kind of going at him for it. And I even messaged him and I even told him, brother, like, don't even literally just ignore it. Like, those people aren't worth it.
now, I don't know Jonathan as you do, but I think he'll come at the better end of it for sure. So I'm not doubting that.
Yeah, he's a sweetheart. He really is, and so he has a really good heart.
Yeah.
And I could just tell by the way that he talks about everybody, like everybody, like all the Orthodox people. He speaks so highly of everybody, and I'm just like, dude, I'm like, you have such a huge love for them. Like, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
That's genuinely beautiful. When I was interviewing you, he even was like excited for me, and he's like, oh, I love Artan. He's like, you're gonna love him. He's great. And he's like, he's awesome, and like he was hyping you up before I even like
Oh,
fully spoken with you, and I thought that was really sweet. So
yeah. Also, obviously, I've received very good responses of our roundtable discussion, which has like I don't know, like 150,000 views for now. I think it's like the most viewed within a couple months. Glory
yeah,
to God. So
yeah,
he's helping everybody, but he is getting the backlash of it. Anyway, it's super weird. It's anyway, but I think, as mentioned before, he'll become at the better end of it. So we'll pray for him. But Jonathan will be all right.
I
I don't
agree.
doubt that.
Yeah, so I just want to say, people need to chill out when Roman Catholics and Orthodox start collaborating. Because I feel like
Yeah, but
some people are so the amount of people that I've had that have been so mad at me because I've been interviewing Oriental Orthodox people. I'm like, you guys need to chill. I'm like, what is going
really,
on?
yeah. But the whole point, like, oh gosh, your brain cannot handle it. Everybody need to be in the same group and not talk to each other. Get out of here. Like I can't handle that. So
Yeah. I mean, okay. I had a conversation with the Boona Lazarus, but by the way, people loved, and they were so shocked to find out that he was Oriental Orthodox, and the fact that like me and him and I were able to resonate so much within our stories, which I
yeah,
love that interview.
it was a
That's
great
my
interview, by
favorite
the way.
interview that I've done with him. He's so sweet. I love
Oh, was it? It was your
I love
favorite.
him.
I wasn't not your favorite anymore.
I said you're my favorite Armenian brother.
Oh, that
Like,
helps.
he's a priest.
Okay, I'll become a priest and we'll try
Okay.
again. Okay.
And then yeah, so people really, really seemed. I had so much positive feedback on that one, but where people kind of pushed back was when I invited you and Daniel, Subdeacon Daniel, and I'm like, and you know what's funny is that even Catholics, they were telling me, they're like, oh, you there's no way you can handle conversations with them, because what if they question you about your own faith, or what if they try to convert you, or what if they try to do this or that? I'm like, brother, I'm not even trying to convert them. I'm like, what are you talking about?
Mm,
I'm like, we're just having a normal conversation. No.
yeah.
I'm like, and two, I don't think they would put me in a position where I would have to answer, and where they would try to humiliate me or try to make me look really bad in front of
Yeah.
everybody. I'm like, that'd be a really bad move on their part. That's just gonna make them look like jerks. I'm like, but I'm like, there's a reason why I feel like I'm very, very careful about who I'm bringing on as well.
Very
I'm
good.
like, you're not gonna see me try to bring an ortho bro on and try to be like, no. I'm like, because I literally tell them, like, have you even seen my interview with both of them? Where in these interviews have they tried to convert me?
Yeah.
Or where in these interviews have they tried to challenge me to like convert or to think about it? I'm like that's the least of anybody's
Yeah.
problems.
That's,
Sorry. That's not even on my
yeah.
mind. I just want to have the healthy dialogue. That's all it is.
But those are the most beautiful things in the entire world, right? To have a healthy dialogue with with somebody else. In what world are we living if we cannot even have a conversation with each other? I don't get it.
I don't get it either. And I told people, I'm like, if you guys want to stay, like, I don't care. I'm like, I don't care if you don't like Martan. I don't care if you don't like Daniel. I don't care if you don't like Abuna Lazarus. Like, I'm sorry. Like, they're still gonna be on my
The
channel unless they do something to me
the great
personally.
no, but the great thing about social media is like, hey, you can unfollow. Bye bye. Like nobody's forcing you to be here. Like, why? What are you doing here?
Yeah, and also I've had people that are discerning orthodoxy that have I have people that have discerned orthodoxy that have asked me, they're like, hey, like, we're actually really glad that somebody's bringing these people on and we're seeing representation. People got so excited when I brought you on, Martan. Last time, the Armenians were going crazy with it. They were like, they love you. And I was like, oh, I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
And then I was
No,
like,
the Armenians are very loyal. When there's a particular boxer or MMA fighter or an actor or a chess player, whatever, the Armenians wholeheartedly like support that particular person right away.
yeah,
Yeah.
and like I got so many sweet messages from a lot of the Armenian community. They were like, "My sister." They're like, "We're so happy you got to talk to about that, and like you should invite more people to come on and all this stuff." And I was like, "That's so nice." I was like, "That's so nice." I'm like, "I can't even speak the same language as you guys, but hey, I love it." I'm like, so happy that I'm so happy that you guys feel represented and seen channel. So I mean, and a
Yeah.
lot of the Catholics, I
Pray
mean,
that
they
I
stick
re-
with me, but they still watch your stuff too. So,
Thank you.
sorry.
Pray that I remain your favorite Armenian. Emphasis on favorite.
Pray that, hey, pray that no other Armenians show up.
Yeah, for sure. I'll make sure of that.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
sister, I'm gonna wrap up.
yeah,
Tomorrow's church
yeah. I
time.
was gonna say, me too. Yeah. Well, today's, oh yeah, tomorrow's church time for me too. I forgot. Yeah,
Thank you very much.
tomorrow's church
It
for me
has
too.
been a lot of fun. Thank you very much. This has been very edifying. Thank you very much for your testimony and for your story, actually, which is also very inspiring for me to hear. So thank you, sister.
Thank you so much, brother, and God bless you and your ministry and everything that
You
you're
too.
doing. Thank you for showing so much love and support. I've been seeing you like posting like some of my interview with Abuna and everything, and I thought that was really sweet of you. You didn't have to do that, but I do want to give you props for that, just because I think it's really sweet. And I've been seeing the support you've been showing me, so that means a lot coming from you and from your beautiful community as well, who's been nothing but very kind to me. So
Thank you.
I do thank you for that.
With all due love.
All
God
right,
bless you. God bless everybody. May the love and
God bless.
blessings of the Father, Son, and Spirit